Neil deGrasse Tyson weaves a cosmic allegory, employing the perspectives of hypothetical extraterrestrial beings to shed light on our human existence.
I tell you in the same breath that it would be inexcusably egocentric to suggest that we are alone in the cosmos.
And these aliens, they say, what the hell's going on here on Earth? What? And then they run back. So I often introduce aliens because they don't have any preconceived notion of who and what we are, and we get a sense of what they might say. Okay,
Sure.
so I imagine—
Theoretical aliens.
Yeah, exactly, theoretical aliens. I can't divulge other— So, yeah, so imagine photosynthesizing sentient aliens, okay? So they're basically sentient plants.
Just a couple of thoughts. One that's sort of deeply cosmic and another one that is fascinatingly disturbing, I think. You'll be the judge of this. Consider a couple of fundamental facts that has been gleaned in the past 60 years.
With imaginative insight, Tyson navigates the interplay between humanity and the cosmos, encouraging us to see ourselves through the lens of potential interstellar observers.
First, the ingredients of life on Earth, they're not special. We're made of carbon, nitrogen, oxygen. These are the most common ingredients in the universe. So you can't appeal to our special chemistry because it's everywhere.
Okay. And so they're in a spaceship, and they saw that Earth has a good biodiversity of plants, and it's on their tour book. They got rainforests and things, so they come to visit. And then they meet vegetarians who expressly eat plants.
If you had asked your chemistry teacher 50 years ago, once you looked at that mysterious chart of boxes that sat in front of your class, the periodic table of elements, where did those elements come from? The chemistry teacher would actually not have an answer for you. They'll say, well, we dig them out of the earth. That's not where they come from.
Now, how many locations might you have life? If life existed on a planetary surface, how many planets are out there? Well, we've got an inventory in the making right now. The Kepler telescope, which recently had some mechanical failures, but not before it gave us a list of 1,000 planets out there orbiting stars that are nearby the sun.
It took modern astrophysics to determine the origin of the chemical elements. We observe stars, we know what goes on in their center, they explode, laying bare their contents. And what we have discovered is that the elements of the periodic table, that which we are made of, derive from the actions of stars that have manufactured the elements, exploded, scattered their enriched guts across the galaxy, contaminating or enriching gas clouds that then formed a next generation of stars populated by planets and possibly life. And so when you look at the ingredients of the universe, the number one ingredient is hydrogen. Next is helium. Next is hydrogen, helium, oxygen, carbon, nitrogen. Those are the top ingredients in the universe. And you say, well, okay, that's kind of cool. Well, and you look at Earth, because we like thinking of ourselves as special, we say, oh, we're special. But what are we made of? Well, what's the number one sort of molecule in the body? It's water. It's water. But what's water made of? H2O, hydrogen and oxygen. Hydrogen and oxygen. In fact, if you rank the elements in the human body, with the exception of helium, which is chemically inert, useless to you for any reason other than just to inhale it and sound like Mickey Mouse, you can't from helium unless that's all you breathe. Number one in the human body is hydrogen. Matches the universe. Number two is oxygen. Matches the universe. Number three, carbon. Matches the universe. Number four, nitrogen. Matches the universe. And for each of us, the fifth element, other, is the same in both places.
His words become a cosmic mirror, challenging us to contemplate our own actions and values from the vantage point of otherworldly beings.
And it's not just plants. They notice that vegetarians target the reproductive organs of plants, the flowers, the berries, the nuts, all of the things. The plant's just trying to make another version of itself. Nope, let's eat it. In fact, last night I had zucchini blossoms for dinner, okay? The zucchini's just trying to make another zucchini. But no, I ate it. And now imagine Imagine the aliens. They go check in on Whole Foods and they see people shopping in the produce aisle, and then they notice these same vegetarians, they're into infanticide because they're selecting baby carrots, baby spinach, baby artichokes, baby arugula, baby everything. And these aliens, they say, what the hell's going on here? What? And then they run back.
So, we learned in the last 50 years that, of course, not only do we exist in this universe, it is the universe itself that exists within us. And had we been made of some rare isotope of bismuth, you would have arguments saying, hey, we're something special. But there are people who are upset by that fact, saying, well, that mean we're not special? Well, I think it's special in another kind of way. Because when you look up at the night sky, it's no longer we're here and that's there. It's that we are part of that. And that association, for me, is actually quite enlightening and ennobling and enriching. In fact, it's almost spiritual. Looking up at the night sky and finding a sense of belonging, given what we've learned about the night sky. And so now we have ourselves. Now, are we alone in the universe? We're made of the most common ingredients there are. And our chemistry is based on carbon. Carbon is the most chemically active ingredient in the entire periodic table. If you were to find a chemistry on which to base something really complex called life, you would base it on carbon. Carbon is like the fourth most abundant ingredient in the universe. Isn't that rare? You can make more molecules out of carbon than you can all other kinds of molecules combined. So if we ask ourselves, are we alone in the universe? It would be, in spite of my diatribe about UFOs, I tell you in the same breath that it would be inexcusably egocentric to suggest that we are alone in the cosmos.
Within this cosmic allegory unfolds a tapestry of introspection, inviting everyone to consider the impact of our choices on a cosmic scale.
You run the numbers and you realize it would be inexcusably egocentric to suggest that we were alone in the universe. And so anyone who's actually studied the problem would say, sure, the statistics strongly argue in favor of life. Now, whether it's intelligent life that we would call intelligent, here's you want to lose sleep? Maybe there's life that's so intelligent, it doesn't consider us to be intelligent. We came up with our own definitions of what intelligence is. Imagine they are so brilliant, they look at this as like
Neanderthals.
They wouldn't even deign, they wouldn't even waste their time. Any more than you walk by a worm in the street that just crawled out gasping for air after a morning rain. Do you say, gee, I wonder what the worm is thinking? I wonder, no, you don't care. You step on the worm, right? So the hubris of us to suggest that we are intelligent, no other life on Earth has ever been intelligent, and we can then have a conversation with other intelligent life.
The chemistry is too rich to declare that. The universe, too vast. There are more stars in the universe than grains of sand in all the beaches of the world. There are more stars in the universe than all the sounds and words ever uttered by all humans who have ever lived. To say we're alone in the universe. No, we haven't found life outside of Earth yet. We're looking, haven't looked very far yet. Galaxies this big, we looked about that far. But we're looking. And how about life on Earth? How is it hard to form? Just because we don't know how to do it in the lab doesn't mean nature had problems. So it may be, given that information, that given the right ingredients, which are everywhere, life may be inevitable, an inevitable consequence of complex chemistry. If that's the case, we look around our own solar system, we look at Mars. All the evidence suggests that Mars was once a wet, fertile place, an oasis. There are dried riverbeds and floodplains and river deltas and meandering rivers. It's all bone dry now. Something bad happened on Mars. Some knobs got turned in its environment that left it the way it is right now. Some bad knobs got turned on Venus too. Runaway greenhouse effect. You saw the clip on that. 900 degrees Fahrenheit on Venus. Some knobs got turned there too. People say, why spend money up there when we spend it? Because up there we might learn about down here, okay? I don't want a runaway greenhouse effect here. Venus is the best example in the solar system of a planet gone bad. Let's learn about that.
The spotlight narrows on Neil deGrasse Tyson, a cosmic storyteller unafraid to use the lens of fiction to explore profound truths about our place in the universe.
So, it turns out we learned that asteroid impacts, when they hit, can cast rocks in their surrounding areas into space with escape velocity, so they never come back to the planet from which it was launched. If Mars was wet and fertile before Earth was, as all evidence suggests, and if Mars had life before Earth had life, it is possible for there to have been bacterial stowaways in the nooks and crannies of the rocks that were cast into space. There's some hardy bacteria that we already know exists on Earth. Survives extreme temperatures, pressures, freeze-dried, reconstituted, radiation. The hostile environment of space would be nothing to some of these bacteria. It may be that life on Earth was seeded by bacterial stowaways on rocks that were cast free from Mars. This is a plausible scenario that's called panspermia, the transference of life from one planet to the next. If that's the case, that makes all of us descendants of Martians. I want to alert you in advance. Now, let me give you a disturbing thought. A fascinatingly disturbing thought, and we'll leave you on that note. If you look at our closest genetic relative to human beings, it would be the chimpanzee. We share like 98+% identical DNA. We are smarter than a chimpanzee.
If your God created the whole universe just to put you in it, because you pose an interesting question. There was a monk back just pre-Galileo, just a little pre-Galileo. His name is Giordano Bruno, who had just learned about Copernicus's work, that maybe the sun is in the middle of the known universe instead of Earth. Well, if Earth is just one of the planets and Earth has life, maybe other planets have life. Think about it. Once you realize that Earth is one of many, it opens up a whole world of questioning. And he said, well, if that's the case, then, and if all these lights in the night sky are suns just like our sun, then maybe they all have planets. Then maybe the whole universe is teeming with life. That got him into trouble. Because back then, religious philosophies did not allow the universe to contain any kind of intelligence beyond what God would have put here on Earth.
In this age of cosmic reflection, Neil deGrasse Tyson stands as a guide to inspire us all to embrace the cosmic perspective and recognize our interconnectedness with the cosmos.
So let's invent a measure of intelligence that makes humans unique. Let's say intelligence is your ability to compose poetry, symphonies, do art, math, and science, let's say, okay? Let's make that as the arbitrary definition of intelligence for the moment. Chimps can't do any of that. Yet we share 98, 99% identical DNA, okay? The most brilliant chimp there ever was maybe can do a little bit of sign language. Well, our toddlers can do that. Toddlers. So here's what concerns me deeply. Deeply. Everything that we are that distinguishes us from chimps emerges from that 1% difference in DNA. It has to, because that's the difference. The Hubble telescope, that's in that 1%. Maybe everything that we are that is not the chimp is not as smart compared to the chimp as we tell ourselves it is. Maybe the difference between constructing and launching a Hubble telescope and a chimp combining two finger motions as sign language, maybe that difference is not all that great.
It offers cosmic perspectives, which are it's another way to think about what it is you do. So you might feel more strongly about what you do or less, but it's another way to look at how you have formulated what it is you think and do, and who you're going to argue with, especially at Thanksgiving.